Hi everyone, welcome back to ITOM batch 3, day 44. How are you doing guys today?
Good, Ajay. How are you?
I'm also doing good, thank you. Good to hear. Okay, so let's start. So as we discussed already, today's agenda is to recapping what we have covered till now in event management. And let's do have a Q&A sessions, and if you have any questions related to that, we will proceed further based on that, right? So I'm going to be start about that. So if you remember guys what we have discussed, so on the first sessions we have discussed about introduction about event management, means what is event management, how that event management works basically, and how we are going to utilize that one. Then we discussed about implementation high level plan, so what we have to do as a first step and second step and third step while we are going to be planned for any implementations, right? Third, we have discussed also about integrations method, like how we can integrate any third party source or third party monitoring systems with ServiceNow using the push pull connectors, SNMP, inbound email actions, right? So I already showcased you about the push pull connector configurations as well as SNMP configurations and inbound email actions configurations, right? Then we discussed about once we have event management configuration done, or that connectors has been configured, how or what informations we received in the event and how the event rule is configured on it to transform from event to an alert, right? So we discussed about thoroughly or deeply on that particular side as well. Then we discussed about impact visualizations on SOW, service operation workspace, through my application services and dynamic CI groups. So we have configured application services and the dynamic CI groups, and if any alert will be generated, how that impact will be visualized on my service operation workspace. We discussed about that. Also we discussed about then again the event rules and the filter conditions which we need to be configured on event side, which are based on the proper conditions or the filter conditions, we can trigger the event rule particularly for particular type of events basically. Also we discussed about the regex there, how we can configure the regex, and we can pass the data from whatever info whatever attribute we need to be captured, right? Also, in event rule side itself, we also discussed about the CI bindings, how the CI bindings and threshold binding will work, what is the use cases of it, right? And how it can be helpful to reduce or reduce the noise of the events to convert to an alert, basically, right? Then we discussed about event field mapping and the troubleshooting of the event field mapping. So how event field mapping will work if event field mapping is not configured properly, what will happen, what type of errors you will see there, right? Then we also discussed about the service operation workspace and alert management rule configurations, which alert management rule where we which is going to be help out to convert my event to an alert to an incident, basically based on some conditions again, and then we can design the flow designer basically to populate what attribute we want to be mapped from alert to an incident, if we want to put any specific waiting conditions to raise the incidents, also whatever informations we want to be passed from alert to incidents, right? And assigning the alert incident to the correct team with the correct severity, right? We discussed about that. We also discussed about impact metric calculations and the visualization on service maps. So how impact metric will be work at backend on the service maps, and how we can configure that impact metric calculations for particular cluster or the particular CI, and how we can convert as well based on that configurations, the visualization of the impact to that service maps in the service operation workspace. Then we discussed about alert aggregations and the alert grouping and maintenance rules, basically where we all already going through about like what type of out of the box alert grouping we have, like automated, CMDB, or manual or text based, right? And if required, there are a couple of other alert groupings where we require the plugins and how we can configure that, right? Last but not the least, we have also discussed about yesterday itself about the solar winds and SNMP connectors, basically So I already showcased you the live SolarWind connector, what informations we required. Like I just put it, the SolarWind IP and the credentials. And once that is configured, we have to test the connectors. And once that done, we can see the events is flowing in the service now, right? And once that is flowing, how we can proceed further to writing event rules, or matching that existing out of the box event rules, the same event, and converting to an alert, and then so and for incidents as well, right? So we discussed about whole and soul complete event management till now. Now I think let's open for Q&A. I'm open for the Q&A again. So if you have any questions, any topic which you want to be discussed from there, let's ask those particular things. And then if you don't have it, I have multiple questions to ask from you guys to check how what you grab it from this particular event management training, right? So based on that, we can proceed further. Any questions in that particular topics which we have covered till now?
Yeah, Ajay. Yeah. So Ajay, just like high level, I want to know the information. If suppose currently we are not having event management, okay. The
Mhm.
monitoring of the infra resources are done by ESCOM and SolarWinds and Cisco DINAC. Okay. So the question which they are asking directly, like we are yet to implement that. Only the plugins have been installed and the prerequisite or requirement gathering is going on. Okay. The first
Mhm.
question which is coming to us is that this ESCOM or SolarWinds are doing on their own, whatever they have configured or what is their capability, they are monitoring the resources of the infra devices and they are generating the alert, and alert is like getting passed on to the this ITSM for incidents. Okay, so
Mhm.
they are not aware of that which all parameters we have to monitor or which all things. So they are asking us like you can see your system ITSM, what all things of incidents are getting raised, and then you can analyze. So that is actually getting difficult.
But
Uh,
okay, now interrupt you here. But Abhi, you are not a event management solution consultant, or you are not from the tools team. Now let me tell you what happens basically. There are two or three teams will involved, right? One is the team actually who are configuring the standard alerts on the infrastructure, right? Through the SolarWinds or through the ESCOM, right? So and that is not your job to be provide that informations to them, right? That will happen. They will sit with infrastructure team. They will sit with business and try to analyze, based on their past incidents, P1 incidents, basically what happens, what time, if any incident happened due to CPU utilization high, due to memory utilization high, due to application dependencies, due to database, or due to transactions failure and all, right? So they will try to analyze that one, and based on that, the tools team or the monitoring team is going to be configure the event with particular thresholds on the events, or on that particular event source. That can be SolarWind or ESCOM, right? The first thing. Second thing, once they configured there, you can integrate with ServiceNow and pull that events or push that event, whatever the method you are going to use. You can get that events in ServiceNow, and based on that you can write. Now what ServiceNow do, right? So if what is happening actually in your organizations, so SolarWinds having a different ESCOM monitoring different things, SolarWinds is monitoring different thing. They have seated in different space. They are monitoring their systems, or any alert will be, or any things event will be generated. Based on that, they are raising incidents or whatever they are doing, and they are passing that informations to ITSM or the infra team to be worked on it, right? So now resource utilization is different. Both team are having resource utilization in different ways. They are not able to merge or group the alerts if any impact having for X servers due to the Y servers, right? So if any impact having from X to Y servers, definitely they are raising a different incident for the team, right? That's also not correct, because ServiceNow provide you that capabilities. You can find out the root cause, what is the X factor which due to that the Y alerts is generating, right? This is one thing. ServiceNow give a single source of truth or single monitor view, where both team can see all alerts is generated properly or not, and automatically, which they are doing manually, automatically we can convert that alert to an incident, right? Third thing is the noise reductions, right? So what, as I mentioned, if grouping is not there and they are not following the things, might be they are raising multiple incidents for the same type of issues, right? That should be reduced by the service now as well. And end of the day, alert to event to alert versus is, right? So service now is going to be raise incidents or converting alert for actionable events only, which required a attentions to be worked on it, right? It's not just we are going for everything. And whenever we are doing manual things, that is creating lots of issues, right? Sometimes we miss to create issues, miss to create incidents basically. Sometimes we are not following the proper process, or it's a critical alert, we received it but we created a p3, it's we so thought no, let's do it because it's a manual. But if we guide something to the systems, if we proper plan something and feed the data to the system, that will do the automations, that particular job. Now the third factor comes here. What happens, like let's take an example, a business impact happens to a particular application, right? And due to that, business is down for a couple of hours. Now what means, I also worked as a knock lead, so what we will do most of the time, so whenever any business happens, right, business impact happens, the first thing will be happening from the MIM team is they are trying to understand what alerts are generated. Okay, already what alerts are generated, they are trying to assess that one. So if they found yes, alerts are generated but no one is taking the actions, so if why no one is taking the actions, that which team that alert is assigned. So they trying to assess, do we received any proactive informations from event management systems that issue is going to be happen at your infra side or at your business side and we have not take the actions. If yes, then it's okay. If no, once the incident is resolved as a p1, when p1 or p2 is created, once incident is resolved, we are going to create a proactive or a problem record to analyze the root cause and what another corrective actions and preventive actions we have to be taken care, right? So as a preventive actions, that one action item will be for event management team, or the tool, one is for tools team and one is for event management. Event management to event management to be sit with business or to sit with MIM to identify which more alert required to configure on their infra or on their applications. So they will gather that informations that time and then they are sharing that informations to tool team and taking a follow-up till closure of that alert configuration at their side, right? So there are three different factors. If P1 is going happening or the P2 is happening, in that case preventive action is designed, then it's I can say that is the responsibility of the event management team who are managing the complete knock, right? Otherwise I don't think we required to do those particular things from our side. I hope I just clarify with that detailed informations to you.
Yeah, Ajit, thanks. I got the overview of complete cycle. Uh, and also this problem which you are saying, that reactive or proactive problem, or the preventive task which we are having in problem. So these all are manual, right? Once the P1, P2 resolution is done, then we are raising the problem. So these all are manual tasks, right? Creating
Yeah.
problem I am saying only.
So basically, and this is not just like someone goes and created this one. This is happening a pure discussion on the root
Right, right.
finding, and then we are designing the action items for each team who have to be take care, because why we what which we are going to be stop here. We are going to be stop the business impact, and how we can stop it, configuring the preventive things, right? So let's take an example. You are using your phone and immediately somehow, like we are getting in our phone as well, but if somehow your phone is not responding, it's low due to battery and it's shut down, but he's also giving you the some before that he's giving you some alert as well, your battery is low, please charge, your battery is low, please charge, right? You're getting it. If you're not taking actions, that is going to be down. But next time, if if you feel ki, 20, when we are getting alerts, it's for 20%, and it's sometime little late to put it on charge because you have to do lots of things, right? But if you little bit increase that one, I get an notification at least on 40% battery. When less than 40% battery is available, I get an alert, and I will put it on charge, so I have sufficient time to do that, right? Sometimes some emergencies are there, you cannot not able to put the phone on the charge. The same thing happening here. Sometimes we have to be increase the threshold, sometimes we have to be decrease the threshold, sometimes we have to be increase the polling intervals, sometimes we have to be configure the new alerts, events or alerts basically on the monitoring systems to cater that particular situation only, right? So that we have to be follow basically.
Okay, got it, Ajay. And Ajay, just one more thing, like this event flapping. Okay, like a repetitive occurrence of any event, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this event flapping also we can control via event management as far as we have
Yeah.
gone through. Yes.
Right. So two things here basically, right? What is event flapping? Event flapping is nothing but if something is happening on a particular source, like if utilization is going to be high, event is triggered. If utilization go down, event is closed, right? So that is happening due to the correct thresholds and polling interval is not configured on the monitoring system side, right? So
Yeah.
things here, like one is you can configure the event flapping at your ServiceNow side. So based on that, if that particular pattern is followed, automatically that alert state is moved to the flapping and it will open that particular time, right? Second thing, if you want to permanently fix it, you can go to and sit with tools team, give this some scenarios or give some alerts, we receive this particular alerts and this particular time, and that's happening most of the time if it is reoccurring multiple times. So you can sit with them and ask to increase the polling interval and threshold, right? Which I already if you remember, I think first or second class I mentioned especially how the event management solutions works in the backend basic, right? So you can control using those particular things basically.
Fine, Ajay. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions from anyone else? Shiva, Ritam, Mastan, DS, Farida.
Yeah, I have a question, Ajay.
Yes.
So I'm going through the videos and again. So I'm little stuck on that um like this impact fee on the impact fee influence on the service mapping. So
Mhm.
can you come again on that part? No, I'm not slightly confused on that part actually.
Okay. So now I'll let me tell you in the simple words. Impact tree is for complete service maps where we are going to be influence the impact on my services. Now let me tell you with an example here. Basically, you have a application which is working. For that you have configured the application service map, okay? And that application service maps, you have it in the top, you have the entry point for that application, then you have load balancers, and then you have your web servers, but that web servers are in cluster, right? And then below you have application servers that are again on the cluster, and then database, right? These are the typical, this is the typical architecture for any application, right? But now you tell me, if in a particular cluster you have a hundred, sorry, not 100, you have a 4 CIS, how do you want to replicate? Do you want to replicate the complete cluster is impacted, or do you want to replicate a single CI is impacted and which is weightage of the 25% of that cluster?
Yes, yeah. We'll go for the single CIM planning.
Right. So that's the configuration. If I quickly share my screen, let me know once my screen is visible to you.
It is visible.
Okay, let me go to this one. Okay. So here, if you see, okay, first of all, now here you see just first thing, right? So this is one of the, okay, let me go up. Let me showcase you in the different way. See, this is my entry point. This is my load balancer. Here, this is a cluster, which one cluster we have two CIs and one cluster we have two CIs. And both clusters are different. One cluster name is IS Form V, where it's clicked here, and one cluster name is IS 6.0. Okay. Now each cluster have two CIs. What impact metrics we are configuring here? You can see the all informations here using that. If you see here that showcasing, if you see one cluster which is up under IS Form V, IS 6.0, there are two servers which is showcasing 100%, right? And the second cluster also showcasing 100%, right? So that's out of the box impact metric configured here, right? So if any alert generating on root web service, right? It because root web service is part of both systems, right? One is in this particular as well, in this particular as well. But if any impact is happening on the root web service, that will showcase on the both event, oh sorry, both clusters. Basically that is going to be impact the both clusters, but it doesn't mean that impacting the both clusters 100%, no, because two clusters are there, that will be impacting to 50%, right? So what is we do as impact configuration here? We configured application cluster member with influence to unit 2. Why I put it you 2 basically here? Because two devices or two machines in a one cluster. If it is 4, I can put 4. If it is 6, I can put 6. So basically based on the unit is just a count numbers, and 2 is just the cluster things basically. So I just put it 2, and once I put it 2 for I configured this particular thing for particular cluster here, right? So if you see IS Form V, it's changed to 50%, right? But still one changed to 50%, one but still another is again 100, right? So what I did here, let me showcase you here. See, so now you can see which have the 50% impact influence. That is the alert is there, but still the alert is not visible, or we are not able to see the impact on this particular site, right? But there is 100% influence, and alert is generated for one CI only, ISS 6.0 here, but it influencing the impact on the top of that particular cluster, right? But actually that is not the correct case. The case is here because we have two machines running in a cluster, so that will be impact to one machine only, so it will showcase the 50%. If another cluster is also going to be impact due to that, then it will influence that impact on the top of that particular cluster like this way, right? So that's configuration we are doing here, right? If you see here, alert is on the single machine only, but here it's showcasing impact 50%, it's showcasing here on this particular cluster is 100%. So that one thing we can configure here. And second thing what we can do, we can also configure based on the percentage, right? So again, earlier we did it based on the unit. Second, application cluster member we can configure on the percentage as well. It means if two CIs, we have to put one percentage is 51, another one is below 51, right? So based on that we can calculate the influence. If the 4 CIs in one cluster, we can put 26% for each, right? So based on the percentage we can calculate. Third thing is application impact, which you are able to see application service here, right? You can influence the event severity to service mapping severity basically, right? So let's take an example. You have received a event severity critical, but based on automatically my service maps also showcasing in a red as a critical, right? But we don't want to do that. We want, if multiple alerts are there like critical, there are 5 alerts for critical, then only it showcase critical, otherwise it will showcase as a amber or as a warning or as a major, right? So you can change that particular severities here, first thing. Second thing is impact here. Application impact is application service and parent, right? So where you want to showcase that impact, that also you can configure from here, right? So it just only the influencing the impact from CI to CI, and you can configure that particular impact matrix based on service map to service map, right? It doesn't mean you are configuring for one service maps XYZ that will replicate to the another service maps. No, you can trigger, you can configure for per service maps based on the requirement or based on the scenarios from your customer side. I hope I'm able to help you out on that side now.
Yeah, that is clear.
Okay, sounds good. What else? Farida, Michael, do you have any questions or are you clear about that particular things?
I'm good, Ajay.
Good to hear.
Ajay, I have a question. Like whenever we are integrating with the, like working with the event management with third-party monitoring tools,
Mm-hmm.
we are integrating, we are using like mid server and REST API also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we? I mean, like I have a bit confusion on that. Like whenever REST API and the SNMP is also part of, we can do that. Like how it is, Ajay?
No, you confused me now. Can you come again?
No, like
Mhm.
when doing the integration with the and like suppose third-party monitoring tools, right?
Mhm.
So basically we use mid servers and REST APIs as well.
Yeah.
And other ways like SNMP is also is a part of that. Like how it is?
Okay. No, so first of all, you have to be understand the differences between the out of the box connector or the REST API or the SNMP, right? And in if you are using all three, mid server is required for that, right? So push
Okay.
or pull connectors basically is nothing. It is just out of the box configured connector, but end of the day, that are the REST APIs which is pulling or pushing the data, right? Get or something one, right? Another one, post one, right? So, but they have configured in that way. You no need to be configure the REST message. You don't need no need to be configure the staging table where you're passing the data and putting to target table. No, automatically everything is happening based on the codes which they have written. So push and pull, what is happening here? Pull is something on every 120 seconds you are pulling the event from source monitoring system, right? So where you are giving that informations basically, right? And second thing, push is something where you are providing your mid server IP up after configuring the SNMP, not SNMP, the mid server web trap listeners, and you are providing your IP to the source monitoring systems, and they are pushing to the mid server. So mid server act as a web listeners that particular time and receiving the event to event table, right? Second thing, REST message or REST API you mentioned. So that is completely custom you are developing, right? So you will get, you will provide your event management, REST API to the customer, and customer is pushing the data again, or it might be you are pulling the data from customer REST API. You are just calling a REST message, putting the credentials, testing that informations, and then you are putting that pulling that informations in ServiceNow and processing further, right? So both ways is also available in connector side. Third is SNMP. SNMP is nothing but couple of legacy device which are not able to use the REST APIs or the connectors we have not available. We can use the SNMP traps to send that event, right? SNMP trap, again a protocol like SNMP, which we are using 161 port here on SNMP. The same way in SNMP traps is a protocol where we are using 162 or 1162 port to trigger the event on the specific port to the specific mid servers, and once that is done, we receive the event at ServiceNow side, right? But we need a firewall policy and other things will be required to be open, right? So they are sending the traps means just informations they are sending in the OID formats, and then once it is received in ServiceNow, we are migrating or we are configuring the trap informations to alert, basically using the event rules and other informations. Okay, I hope it's clear to you now.
Yep. And I have one more doubt, Ajay. I mean, regarding with we are using the graph connectors and working with the SolarWinds and SCOM as some other thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of graph connectors, do we use any other alternate, like, as we mentioned, REST APIs also we do separately, or like we need to use graph connectors?
Now you are again confusing because graph connector is for something different purpose.
Okay.
Graph connector is for CMDB data.
Okay.
Okay, not for event management.
Okay, got it.
Graph connector, you are doing SolarWinds and other things that you want to connect with that particular machine, connector, and want to pull the CMDB data and want to update your CMDB. For that, service graph connector comes in the picture. For event management, we have push-pull connectors. Basically, that's we not called graph connector to them.
Got it, Ajay. Got it. I was a bit confused. Okay, got it.
Yes. Yeah, no issues. Okay, any other questions from anyone else? If we are good, so let me open my questions now to you guys to see what you have learned. Okay, now my first questions to you guys. Uh, I will ask the generic questions and I will try to cover that questions which might become in your event management exam if you want to go for that, right? So a monitoring tool notification of a notable occurrence is known as what in ServiceNow event management? A
Sorry, can you
monitoring tool notification of a notable occurrence is known as what?
So are we talking about alert, Ajay? Not getting exact question.
I'm asking to you guys. Right.
Notification to not.
What we call that one basically. If a monitoring tool notification of a notable occurrence is known as what?
Alert?
Sorry, come again, Shiva? Yes.
error?
No, alert. No, it's event basically, right?
Event.
So
Okay.
monitoring tool, which notifications you are providing to you, that's event. You are converting to an alert for a required actions, that is something different, right? But it's a event basically.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you this question
Ajay,
as
can
well.
say that event might be like CPU usage kind of thing. We can answer for that, right?
CPU, come again?
Event is a kind of, we can mention that CPU usage kind of like whenever the event is happen is also we can mention, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
That is
Thank you.
event basically. Okay, now what are the three areas of the data quality does the CMDB health dashboard focus on?
Compliance, correctness.
Yeah.
3C's, it's completeness, correctness, compliance.
Yes, right. Completeness, correctness, and compliance. These are the three areas of the data quality as the CMDB health dashboard focus on. Okay. Let me, where is that? Let me.
That is, Ajay, I think very, very important as I am facing this, as I'm involved in ITOM. So I think 3C is very, very crucial in any organization.
100% because it will give you the clear picture about your CMDB health.
Yeah.
Okay, I also especially mentioned about these particular things, but let me see if you remember or not, right? So which is the best option to reduce latency issue when receiving event? What you have to do? What is the best option to reduce latency issue when receiving events? If you are receiving events and if you have a latency issue, what you have to do? If you remember.
I think optimizing the mid server performance, like
No.
might be using multiple mid servers also.
No.
Oh, I think necessary event rules and filters we need to apply.
Events is not yet received. It's latency with events, not event rules and all. If you are getting latency, what you should do?
Can you use the CDN?
Sorry, come again. What we can use?
CDN.
What is CDN? Okay, if we are getting this one latency in the event table, if you remember, I mentioned about the bucket field on event table, right? So we need to check the bucket field on event table is greater than 0. If we are getting the latency on the event receiving, right? And if you remember, there is also one other property which is related to multi-node event processing, right? I also mentioned about that. So these are the two things. Using those particular tag, you can configure or process the events, very fast, right? So if you are facing event is processing late or events is not coming or latency, we have the events. So you can go for configuring the multi-node in the event management properties, or also check the bucket fit itself on the event table, which should be greater than 0. Okay. I especially mentioned this one on the first or second day of this event tables.
Yes.
Okay, now I think this is the good question again. Which event field identify the event and determines if an associated alert is created or updated? What event field determines, or what event field identifies the event and determine if an associated alert is created or updated? It's just like IRE rules. What is that?
So it's node MAC ID IP address and one more field is there.
What we call that one?
What we call? Okay.
What's the name of that attribute?
Message key.
Yes, right.
Okay.
So message key. Now tell me which are the 5 attributes which using that we can create a message key? What are the 5 attributes?
These three I remember as of now. Node MAC ID IP address.
No.
I think
That's you're going wrong side. That's not. Message key attributes are different.
Can you
Anyone?
repeat your question, Ajay, please?
What are the 5 attributes using that we can create a custom message key?
Event binding, and then
No, guys, you're not following me. This
Node
is
is there, right, Ajay, in this message key?
not, you tell me, no? We are
Yeah,
right.
node is there. For sure, node is there.
I think
Host name is there.
metric name.
You're giving me answers in bits and pieces, right? Anyone knows the complete answer?
Like source and node and metric name.
5 attributes are.
Sorry.
5 attributes are there. What
Yes,
are
yes. Source is there, a node is there, and resource one is, and otherwise other one is a metric.
What else? You still left with
Other one.
type.
Yeah, type.
5 attributes are there: source, node, type, resource, metric name, that are required to create a custom message key. If you want to, do the basically you want to put the correlation, or you want to remove the duplications of events or alerts, basically not events, alerts basically. So in you, based on that message key, system is understanding that already alert is all available. If yes, then it's going to be update the existing alert only, and the event which is generated just now, that will tagged with that particular alert. If message key is different, definitely new alert will be generated. So message key is the one of the key factor which is helping to reduce the noise from event to an alert automatically. If we have properly configured the message key. Some of the use cases we are receiving the message key from source monitoring system as well as a SysID or in different ways, but we cannot rely on that one. For that you have to be analyze the data for all alerts and events, and then if you feel no, it's not working as you expected or it's not reducing the noise, then you have to be create your custom message key using these five particular fields. Okay. Now can someone tell me
Ajay,
what? Yes, please.
Ajay, like earlier you asked one question regarding correctness, completeness, like the first three C's. Like I have in scenario wise, how they will ask, Ajay. Like for example, instead of direct questions, is there any alternate way to ask that question, like in a scenario wise?
Right, the scenario based basically, if I ask as a scenario, we'll ask, what is why we require to be configure the completeness, correctness, and all right. Second thing, what will be the requirement to configure the required and recommended attributes? What is the value add to that, right? What is compliance? How we do that, right? If a scenario is if we need to be configured for particular class, right? How we can tackle that situation, so we can configure on the particular class as well as the couple of other parent classes as well, right? What is the excluded rules here? There are a lot questions related to that one, right? It depends, like as I asked just to you, I asked for another way the message key one, and immediately I recall or immediately I ask for what is the five attribute required for. So it depends what you are answering for that particular things. Like if you are answering for specific or very common things, then it will try to find out the questions from that itself. And if you use any term, advanced term there, then definitely pick that questions from there as well. It depends basically.
Okay, Ajay.
Yeah. Now, if I ask you one more question, let me find a good question. Okay, what applications are included in ITOM health solution? I mentioned to you, right? So we have three subscriptions or three licenses. One is ITOM visibility, one is ITOM health, one is ITOM accelerators. So what includes in ITOM health?
Event management.
Yes, this is one.
Event management, then service mapping.
No, that service mapping comes with ITOM visibility, not ITOM health.
Discovery and event management.
Discovery also comes with ITOM visibility, bhai.
Okay.
ITOM health, it's health, about health.
CMDB health.
CMDB health comes with out of the box. That is not required anything.
Okay. Mapping.
Just Abhi mentioned, mapping comes with ITOM visibility.
Yeah.
You guys are not remembering the things.
That thing, not that thing.
In ITOM health, basically the things comes related to the health only, right? So one is event management, right? Second is health log analytics. Okay. Third is agent client collector. Fourth is site reliability operations, SRO. And fifth is predictive AI ops, or which we can call intelligence event. I think what I call, event intelligence, basically, not
Operational intelligence, right?
operational intelligence, right? My bad. So these are the five things which comes with ITOM health. Okay, so you should
So
And I'm asking these particular questions which must or most of the time comes in the event management exam.
So Ajay, this agent client collector is still in use or it's like outdated?
No, it's still in use. Still in
Okay.
use. But this agent client collector is recently introduced, and that is not, as per my understanding, which I feel that is not that much capable solutions as of now. So I think I'm not sure how much organization is using, but my understanding is very few organizations are using that one.
It was there earlier also, right?
Yeah,
Ajay?
yeah. No, not earlier. It's recently introduced. But I think one year before.
Okay.
Okay, now let me ask you in a different way one more question. What attribute is used to consolidate event into a single alert? What attribute is used to consolidate event into a single alert? Do you remember?
Alert aggregation.
No. Again, it's message key, right? So message
Oh,
key is the only attribute which consolidate event to an alert, single alert, right? So it's just like IRE, right? If I ask you multiple question in different ways, that is only the IRE, right? If we want to do that, updating that existing CR, creating a new CI, right? The same way here. Do you know what role is required to creating technical service? I think it should be very simple. बताइए sir, what role is required to create technical service? Anyone? Any idea? Now guys, you can see I ask you only few questions and you still, and these are the basic questions which I ask you, and already these particular questions I covered it. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm saying Ajay, you have not covered it in your session, then I can understand, but I covered those particular things and especially mentioned those things.
In entire our service now, particularly role.
Now in service now. Obviously, we are talking about service now, so I'm asking for the service now roles only.
Admin role,
Yeah, so which admin role?
catalog admin role, I think. Service catalog admin role.
Yes, not service catalog. Oh, sorry, that is ET MGMT admin role, event management admin role.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, now I think this is also I mentioned here. Out of the box, how often do the event get processed in service now? How often do the event get processed in ServiceNow? So once your event is received in ServiceNow, what is the out of the box configurations to be processed that event to an alert? I especially showcase this one to you as well.
We meant to say which going to be processing event to alert or
Yes, yeah, you're right. So processing from event to alert, how often that will happening out of the box?
might be connector.
No. I'm not asking for that one.
60 seconds.
Oh, I mean event rules will be processed like and flow designers will be.
But out of the box, how event rule is processed? Event rule, something is need to be triggered that one. So what the schedule job? I'm not asking the schedule job name.
Okay.
But when that scheduled job is triggering, what is the time of it? That I'm asking. That is 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, event is triggering or converting from event to an alert. Okay, now let me ask you one more question. What ServiceNow feature would you like to configure to process incoming emails to create event? What ServiceNow feature would you configure to process incoming emails to events? I especially mentioned this
Inbound
one.
email actions.
Yes, inbound email actions, 100%. Okay, let me ask you. Okay, what is the out of the box 4 attribute which required for the node binding?
CA
Okay,
name,
CI
IP
binding.
address, MAC address.
Come again, sorry.
FNQ. CA name,
Mm-hmm.
MAP address, IP address,
Mm-hmm.
FNQ.
FQDN, FQDN, fully qualified domain name. Okay, these are the 4 attribute. And what is the out of the box table, the node binding happening?
Event table.
Come again?
Event table. Event underscore event.
No. Out of the box table for the CI binding. That is CI hardware. But it is CMDB CI hardware. Okay, I think. Do you know what is the functions of ECCQ, external communication channel?
To communicate with client the service, like the service now from the service now instance to the client kind of like the client assets. This is the communication
No, no.
we
What
use.
client? What client? Which thing you are going to be connect with the client?
Client asset, like the what we are discovering.
But if do you directly connecting to the client asset?
No, through mid server it will happen.
So it's connecting to the mid server, not the client asset, right? Again, I agreed. Mid server will be placing in the client environment, but it's connecting to the mid server. Okay, so this is one of the thing. It is a connection between ServiceNow instance and mid server, right? What else ECCQ do?
Probes and
It
sensors.
will handle like incoming and outgoing communications between.
Come again?
It will handle like incoming and outgoing communications
Okay.
messages.
Yes, right. So basically, it contains probe record to be executed on the customer network, right? So we are passing that is through the ECCQ. What need to be executed there? That should be executed at the customer environment, right? And it will also share that information to us through the sensors, basically, right? So that's the ECCQ basically. Okay, I think that's all for today. I don't have. There are lots of questions, but I'm not asking to those one because I feel that's little tricky to you guys. So you have to do a lot preparation for that. Okay.
No problem, Ajay. You can ask that. I mean, like it will refresh us.
Okay, let me ask you this one then. What determines if an alert management rule actions apply to an alert? would determine if an alert management rule actions apply to an alert. I that is
Event
they use
rule.
alert management, that it's related to alert management rules which are required to be trigger the incidents. So what determines if an alert management rule actions applied to an alert? How do you going to find that alert management rule applies to an alert? Based on the filter conditions, right? The alert management rule filter conditions, right? And second thing, the alert execution on the alert itself, right? So if you want to be checked that is properly triggered or not, you can come to the alert management rules, or from the alert itself you can go to the alert execution there, right? You can find out it's triggered or not properly. Okay. Now, what are the possible actions available in alert management? What are the possible alerts or possible actions available in alert management?
To create incident,
Okay.
close the alert.
No. Actions. When I'm talking mentioning about actions, I'm especially mentioning about the alert management rule flow designer side.
Creating an event.
Creating a?
Create an event.
Hi, sorry, brother. Event is nothing. I'm talking about actions. Flow designer, alert management. There are three
Creating
things. That's why I'm
incident.
saying I especially mentioned this one when I, showcasing on the alert management. I mentioned about the launch application. I mentioned about the execution remediations of flows. Mentioned about the execute remediation workflows. Guys, remember I also mentioned this thing. I hope you remember. Correct me if I'm not showcasing you this one.
Yes.
I
Like
showcased.
creating incident.
Right. So create incident is just
Change.
a launch application, right? And I also mentioned about the flows. If you remember, okay, that you can execute the remediation flows, you can execute the remediation workflows basically. Create incident as an action basically, right? Which comes under the execute remediation subflow. Okay, I think we are good for today. Then we'll wrap up now the sessions and we'll connect on the Monday. But guys, just do little practice, do some things sort of practice on your PDI on this side to see how you can fix it. Okay, so you have to do little practice on that one, and Monday be ready again. Next week is the last week to be complete this training, so Monday we again going to be start the service mapping, and we'll take one session for not discovery, but again for CSDM, and then we'll wrap up that complete this particular batch.
Ajay, I have one more doubt. After completion of our batch, if any doubts we got, like for example, while going through the videos and while doing that, shall we connect or like how it is, Ajay?
You can connect me, but I cannot commit anything on that side, brother, because I'm also working, right? So I have to, but yeah, definitely whenever I get a time, I will respond to you on that particular things. We can connect. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yes, Abhi, you also raise your hand.
Yeah, just one query. Like we are now getting the request to onboard the GCP resources. So just need few assistance. Like what should be the prerequisite? Like I know the subscription ID for Azure, because Azure I have done that. But for GCP I am unaware of. So if possible from
So I have also not worked on the beside that much. I think it would be good if you can refer the ServiceNow documentation. Everything is mentioned, I think, step by step on that side.
Okay.
Okay, just refer this one.
Sure.
Okay, and if you're facing issue, let me know, but I have not worked on basically on that.
Sure,
side.
I will check. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. No issues. Thank you, guys. Have a good day then. We'll connect on the Monday.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ajay. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.